So first off, thanks everybody for joining. This is a fun webinar. We have guest speakers with us today from the organization AGS. We've worked with them for the last probably year and a half now. We met at a conference and worked out a bit of a partnership where their platform mirrors very well with ours and ours with theirs, and hoping that our services can initiate some value from their services. So we brought them on today to speak about what they do in grant management, something that we all know about, may not know a lot about, but if you know more about it, it can definitely be a huge benefit to your business and your organization, and the ability to secure funding. So we're going to find out today how they're able to help us. So we can kind of scroll down. First, we have Derek, Susan, and John as our speakers today, all from AGS, different job roles. They're each going to kind of touch on different aspects of their organization and how that can help. A bit about our organizations that we work with. Many of you may fall under some of these categories, but workforce development and community colleges, universities is a big one that we work with, similar to what AGS does. As you may know, we work with a wide variety of organizations as well outside of this, in terms of cultural institutions, nonprofits, Fortune 500 companies. But today, I think we're going to focus a little bit more on the workforce and continuing education that's going to mirror with what AGS is going to present to us today. Our main platform and what works great as kind of a joint program with AGS is our text messaging platform, along with our mobile web services. So what we provide, and many of you already have our services. If you don't and you'd like to sign up, let us know. We have all of our salespeople are ready to kind of chat and provide demos of our product. But text messaging, high open rates versus emails. So any type of communication with helping people find jobs, attend job fairs, get resources, community engagement, all of that is great through text messaging. Everyone has the device in their hand, and quick communication is the way to go. And then in terms of the mobile web apps, this is the ability to create a very user-friendly, mobile-friendly mobile site that allows for resources, content, videos, quizzes, polls, surveys, to help find out if people did find jobs, that they have resources in terms of resume writing, business writing, and all that good stuff. So both of those are very common platforms that we provide. And then today we're going to talk about AGS's ability to kind of use their grant management software, along with an integration that we've built that kind of maps the text messaging from their service as well. But we're going to let them focus on their platform now. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce, one more slide. As of September, WIOA funding, which many of you may be familiar with, has approved text messaging to be used with WIOA funding. So if you're looking for somewhere to spend that money, let us know, and we can help you guys out. But regardless, just knowing that the government's kind of caught up to the value of text messaging and mobile sites is a big breakthrough that we're all excited about as well. So now I will introduce Derek from AGS. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Casey. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Derek Edwards. I'm the President and Chief Technical Officer for AGS Data Systems. We're very pleased to be here with our technology partners engaged by SEL and have an opportunity to spend a few minutes talking to you about our organization and a portion of our product line focused on grant management and grant data management and operations management. I'm going to give you just a quick overview in just a few minutes of AGS and of our platform itself before turning this over to Susan and John to talk about grant management in particular. We have been involved in workforce development and social services for 25 years. I see a number of workforce agencies here in chat. And for those of you that have been around that long, Susan and I in particular had an opportunity to be involved with the original DOL prototype WIA system in 1996. I was the senior systems architect for that. Shortly after that, Susan, working with IBM Global Services, oversaw several state deployments of that. So we really go back to WIA and WIOA from literally the very earliest days.
Long before my hair was white.
And oddly, mine used to be. I don't know what happened. So we've been in this industry. We have worked with the grant streams. We've worked with the granting environment. We have worked with the data collection challenges that non-state level organizations without millions and millions of dollars in budget have frequently run across. We have been building over the last several years what we refer to as AGS Prime. This is a no-code, web-based platform that at the highest level allows a non-technical project team to build out its own data collection, data management, and data analytics and reporting application with no need for developers, no need for infrastructure, no worries about security and encryption and things like that. This particular platform, we have then used ourselves in order to build out, Susan and her team, in order to build out a number of applications that are specific to, well, a number of different industries. But today, with the amount of time that we have, we're going to talk about grant management, and you'll get a chance to see some specific applications that demonstrate the capabilities of the platform. So in addition to the platform, we have these verticals, if you will, that we have pre-built and that are available in a number of industries where you can use those as turnkey applications. You can modify and evolve those. You can build your own applications. And we also have a consultative services capability to work with your organization to help get started, to provide focused training, to provide initial implementation and deployment support and the like. The Prime application itself, the Prime platform itself, is a no-code environment. It's all Amazon Web Services, AWS based, which gives us scalability, it gives us security, it gives us robustness. It provides for an ultra high availability and secure environment for you to be able to manage your data. We specifically target this at the non-technical project teams. As you might imagine, being here on the call today with Engage by Cell, we have integrated the platform with Engage by Cell's technology so that you have, for example, the ability in an application to collect information about, for example, a participant. Then maybe you have an event that these participants have attended, and you would like to then run a text-based follow-up campaign with Engage by Cell, where Engage by Cell is able to actually reach in real time into our platform in order to pull those records, in order to see who it is you want to send that information to, and then provide updates back into the environment that you're using on the Prime side, so that in a generic case folder like service delivery type environment, you would be able to say, these are the events this person has been to, and then these are all the responses that we have received to our Engage by Cell campaign, so that your staff have this full situational awareness in a single place, in a single environment. We really help manage the entire data life cycle. So if we frequently ask questions like, can you import the data? Can you export the data? Can we manage the data? So Prime gives you a platform where you build any specific application, where you can then do bulk loads of existing information, where you can then do ongoing incremental imports of additional information that may come from one or multiple external data sources. It has the ability to read live from other third-party environment APIs. So if you have some other system that is capable of providing data in a programmatic API interface type fashion, Prime has the ability to reach out, pull that information in. Then you have the ability to build your own applications out, design your own business logic, design your own forms, build your own data sets. At the platform level, nothing in Prime is pre-built in the sense that you start from scratch and you roll out the application that you want with the functionality that you want. So today, if we can go ahead and move to the next slide, rather than focus at any greater length on the platform itself, which we would love to have an opportunity to spend time with any of you that have an interest in seeing the platform in and of itself or the platform in conjunction with some of these applications. We want to talk for the rest of today about just one slice of that, which is our work in grant management, whether you are a grantor or whether you are a grantee. So we have, for example, customers that are granting applications, grantors. And in a basic environment there, they may have an online application for a grant program that they have that people can fill out. Or it may be a more sophisticated process where they're simply working with potential recipients and tracking the information related to that evaluation process. And then those recipients of the grants can execute the grant according to that business process and use the platform for reporting information or managing information at the business process level appropriate to what you're trying to get done. As a grantee, it's very common, and what you will see specifically today is an example of a very sophisticated application that we've built out to work with certain federal grant streams with very high requirements for data collection, data validation, and data analysis and data reporting, so that you can manage information at a participant level, be able to aggregate that information, review it, report on it, and then use that in order to work with your granting organization. So whether you are a grantor or you are a grantee, either way, this is an excellent platform for you. One thing I want to make sure I'm doing a good job of imparting to you before you see this example is that what you are seeing is only one example of an application that can be built with the Prime platform. Let me make this analogy. If you had never heard of Microsoft Excel, and we were here today telling you or showing off Excel, and in order to do so, we were showing you an expense reporting workbook. We want you to go away understanding in that example what Excel can do, not believing that it's simply an application for expense reporting, but that's only one application of the generic developmental capabilities of the platform. The same is true of Prime. So we could be here today talking about inventory management. We could be talking about board outreach tracking. We could be talking about online surveys. We could be talking about employer support portals. We could be talking about any process that basically involves an online presence or an online application, if it's entirely staff focused, that allows you to collect information, that allows you to manage that information, that allows you to have your own validation and reporting and management rules, and then allows you to build your own dashboards, queries, reports, and to provide API interfaces that third-party environments, other external stakeholders can actually be allowed to extract data from the application, from the platform on an ongoing basis if they have the sophistication to extract data like that. So there is an entire world of what Prime can do for you. But for the rest of today, in the time that we have available, we want to try to scrunch this down and make this, this picture hopefully worth 1,000 words. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Susan and John.
Great, thanks, Derek.
We're going to have Anna, I think, put up a couple of polls real quick.
Yeah, we have a couple questions to ask everybody. It helps us kind of identify where the interest is and kind of where you all lie in terms of the grant management. Should just be 4 or 5 questions. So if you just want to poke your answers in there, we'll be able to kind of see those results and then move on quickly. Thank you, Derek, for the kind of recap of everything. It's definitely sounds like AGS has a lot that it can do. So I appreciate you guys joining us today to talk about the grant management piece of it. leave that up for a few more seconds, let everybody kind of hop on through. So Susan and John, if you guys want to hop onto your section.
Great. Yeah, somebody asked if they had not received any grants yet on the polls. Just choose like the other category, or some of the questions have a not applicable. Yep, you're welcome. Great. So I'll go ahead and jump in while folks are still filling out the polls, and I'm going to give a quick overview about grant management in terms of what AGS does and the folks that we serve. And then I'm going to kick it back over to Susan. She's going to talk a little bit more in depth about the various types of service that we offer. And then she's going to actually jump in and show you a quick demo of the tool here. So I'm trying to get this done here in about 3 minutes for you. So keep this moving along. Like Derek mentioned, AGS has a long history of experience, about 25 years of working with various federal and local grants, as well as grants from foundations, 41 and counting in terms of DOL, EDA, and ARPA grants that we've specifically worked with organizations and supporting them with their data collection and management of those. The graphics that you see on the right of your screen are just a handful of some of the grants that we're currently working with and that we actually have built templates for, pre-built applications, and we'll touch on that a little bit more as we go along. With all of this experience working with these various grants, we've become subject matter experts in those grants and with those organizations, those granting organizations, as well as the reporting requirements of those granting organizations. A big one being the Pearl and WIPS reporting. Anybody that's received grants, that might send a shiver down your spine of fear when it comes to translating all of your participant data into that lovely alphanumeric coding structure that is the WIPS reporting. We have tons of experience with that, and our systems actually do that. In terms of supporting, we've worked with over 200 organizations to date. Again, just a handful of some of the current clients that we're working with right now. Our systems have managed millions of participant records. We serve, like Derek mentioned, workforce and higher education, specifically community colleges, universities, training organizations, workforce agencies, healthcare systems, social services organizations, foundations, to name a few. And that list is ever growing. And this is just in terms of grant management. Like Derek mentioned, the Prime platform itself could serve basically any organization or any data management need.
So thank you, John. My name is Susan Harden, here with AGS, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Very glad to be with you. So in addition to all of that great history, we help organizations in sort of the pre-award stage, if you will, as well as the post-award stage. People who have received grants and need data management and compliant reporting assistance for their grants. On the pre-award assistance side, we are very well known to U.S. Department of Labor, to Department of Commerce in the Economic Development organization there, as well as other departments at the federal and state level. So we have a great reputation with DOL, FPOs, field project officers. So I know one of the questions that had come up in the preliminary planning for today's webinar was giving some assistance in just sort of managing the acronyms and the vocabulary around federal grants. So because we've been doing this forever, yes, it's an acronym-filled world that we are very well versed in. We oftentimes help pre-award stages with providing some sample proposal language, specifically in the areas of being able to respond to the sections in the FOAs, the funding opportunity announcement, for how are you going to manage your data and be compliant for federal reporting and state reporting. Very heavy lift on a lot of those kinds of grants. We can help you with that sample proposal language to demonstrate how you're going to do that and the type of tool that you will be using, AGS Prime. We have lots of experience with data collection and process guidance. Again, our process buckets we bring to the table of lessons learned and how best to plan for your project rollout, and budget and workflow planning in advance as well, just kind of helping you get your ducks in a row and being able to get your arms around what it's going to look like when you win your project and how to get started. Post-award assistance, you know, we, as Derek and John have both mentioned, we have used AGS Prime to build out a series of pre-built compliant grant data management templates for data input, data collection, as well as the compliance reporting expectations and requirements for federal grants. And some specialty grants for states and even some local projects that come around that are getting funded by ARPA right now. Those projects, as John mentioned, if you're familiar with DOL, US DOL, Department of Labor, that is, WIPS reporting is particularly arduous. We are definitely subject matter experts there, and we can help you with deployment guidance. Again, just building from our many years of experience in helping organizations make good decisions about how best to deploy systems as well as business processes for your projects. We do provide comprehensive support for all of our customers. For these grants, we provide ongoing monitoring of the grants themselves. The feds regularly and constantly are making changes to grants, the data business rules for validation, for data input, for reporting purposes. We stay on top of that for you. So we take the technology off the critical path, as Derek sometimes says. Really just, you can focus on managing the project and we'll take care of managing the data management requirements for your federal reporting. We provide unlimited administrative and technical support and training. We have monthly user groups, a series of those for different grants, as well as for the platform itself. It's all part of what you part of what you get with your subscriptions. We have tons of training documents, videos and tutorials and ongoing release notes that are baked into our process with deploying and supporting our customers through the life of your grant. So with all of that said, let's just take a quick look at switching gears just a little bit and look at a grant tracking template.
Let's take a look.
Thank you. I have a little bit of a cough, so I want to make sure I try not to cough. So we're going to look at a pre-built grant template. Just a couple of reminders as sort of echoing something that Derek had said. This is going to be an example. It's pre-built that we as AGS Prime experts have used Prime to build out these various pre-built compliant templates. I'll show you an apprenticeship tracking template today. There is no custom code in the application itself. It's just using Prime. The applications are available for immediate deployment. You'll see some business rules and validation rules that are baked into the application itself. So you can see how we are managing the hundreds of business rules that are required for compliance for a lot of these grants, that we bake those right into the data collection process to catch any errors in data entry. So it's a cleaner, easier process, and your users don't have to have business rules memorized. We take care of all that for you. I'll demonstrate just a quick dashboard report so you can kind of get a sense of the kind of data visualizations that are available in our templates and that you'll be able to build yourself as well. Let me just quickly swizzle over here. And this is an example of an H-1B and apprenticeship application demo. So what you're seeing here is what, for this particular template, for this particular grant, this is what it looks like, where we have our menu across the top. You'll have your logos and name of your project here. We have participant data management, where all the participant data resides. Very typically, we integrate an employer management module for a CRM for keeping track of job openings in this particular apprenticeship project, and an admin module, a reports module, analytics, and self-registration, which is very typical for the modules set for business process for these kinds of grants. So if I just sort of quickly click on participant management, and again, this is completely web-based, so there's no proprietary hardware or software that's needed for this. I'll open up my first customer, Zakaria Abbeys, and open up their case folder. This is very much a case management business process of how this particular application is built. And we can see a variety of different electronic pieces of paper, if you will, in their case folder. And if I look at her program enrollment, I'd like to demonstrate for you, for this grant, we have the fields that are required for this particular Department of Labor grant, where we have the help text that comes directly from the federal guidance that we have built and baked directly into the data entry screens themselves. And if I change employment status at program entry to employed and say, yes, they're long-term unemployed and they're underemployed and they're a recipient of incumbent worker training, you can see just as I'm clicking on this screen, the representation of on-screen field-to-field errors that AGS Prime has coded into this application for data collection, so that data entry is not allowed when there is data that's entered that breaks the business logic for this particular grant. Great streamlining and data validation process baked right into the applications.
Something Excel
And it
probably
goes towards-
can't catch.
Yeah. And Susan, so this goes towards not only eligibility. So as a participant, let's say, is filling out a self-registration form and they're checking boxes, to determine eligibility. You can set up business rules associated with that, as well as in this case, it's making sure that you're capturing or staying within compliance. So it's validate, the business rules are set up such that you can validate that as well.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. And you can see with errors on the screen, we're not allowed to save this record. So again, we're letting computers do what computer software does, right? And helping end users and you manage clean data. I'm just going to exit out of this really quickly and just jump over to reports. Again, just being mindful of time. If I run over to my reports module, we always provide a series of pre-built canned reports, if you will, as you would expect with a commercial product for these grant templates. And I just want to run an example of a dashboard so you can get a sense of the kind of data visualizations that are available here. I'm going to run this report live. So you can see I have my parameters that pop up, and in just a few seconds we can see for this particular date range, I can see how many people, participants have been enrolled, who's exited, just some key metrics baked into this particular grant template. And this dashboard gives me a quick picture worth 1,000 words. Everybody loves a picture. These are the kinds of reports that grantors love to see. And these kinds of reports are oftentimes used by our customers as exemplars when they are writing other proposals to demonstrate their effectiveness in managing grants. So these are great reports for your own projects, as well as to help you vie for additional dollars as you are demonstrating your efficacy. I just wanted to run that report really quickly and just kind of give you a sense of that reporting.
Yeah,
So
that's
with
great.
all of that, I'll go ahead. Did anybody have any other questions or comments? John, Casey, Derek?
I was saying the dashboard looks great and provides that digestible information that people need. What I kind of gained from all of you guys is just how important data management is during the grant management process, and being able to provide that to your grantees and grantors is, like you said, picture worth 1,000 words, software worth
For sure.
the price.
And Angelita, yes, all of those reports are available in the template. In all of our grant templates, it always include a series of pre-built canned reports, they're parameterized, right? They always include a handful of pre-built reports that are really good for data visualizations, as well as for grant templates. We always include the federally required reporting, depending upon the grant, whether it's a WIPS report, as we've mentioned before, for EDA, for Good Jobs Challenge, for example, there's a different set of reports that are available that we provide and maintain for that particular grant as well.
And there's another question, but before Susan, you get to that, for my part in the presentation, I want to make again the point that the reports that you're seeing, everything that Susan has just shown you is not quote, quote, how Prime works. She is just showing off one specific application that was built by her team in support of a particular grant. So if you look at this and you say, well, yes, that's a beautiful looking application, but our grant has a fundamentally different structure, a fundamentally different data set. That's a nice, attractive dashboard, but not quite the way we want to do things. That's fine. That's the point of Prime as a platform, to allow you to either take one of our templates and modify it if it's very close to what you're looking for, or for you to be able to sit down like you would with Excel and start a new application in Prime. And, I want a new data set, first name, last name, date of birth, social security number, so that you can have a completely custom, completely bespoke environment with your own reporting and analytics. And if you decide that you like this for data collection, but you have over time as an organization built up experience with other data analysis tools, that could be Tableau, it could be Excel, it could be Power BI, it could be R or SAS or SPSS or anything that you've already invested effort in becoming good with. All of the data that you collect in Prime is available through the API for direct extraction and utilization. In Microsoft products like Excel and Power BI, that's a one-liner that allows you to set up a web query from an Excel or Power BI report or analytic, pulling the data right from Prime. So build your own application, build your own analytics inside Prime, or use your existing analytic tools in order to pull the data on demand in real time from Prime to work in the environment you already know.
I know what the demonstration was focused on grant management, but Susan did mention, as part of a typical grant management, there is a module that we set up for almost all of our customers around employer engagement, or in tracking employer participation or employer engagement, et cetera, as well as the ability to build in or provide access to partners. So if you have multiple partners or multiple institutions on a particular grant or training partners, all of those folks can have the ability to interact with your application and have certain levels, based on predetermined by you security clearances access to go in and update course catalogs, update their contact information, update employer information, post jobs, etc. Another example, just to really drive home that it's not just a pre-canned template that you're getting, that you can literally build anything you want. AGS as a company, we use Prime to build our CRM. So our internal sales mechanism, we used to use that big, huge, large company out there that does almost everybody's CRM. We stopped paying them, used our own tool, and built our own CRM right on our platform. And it's a no-code platform. So literally, if you need to go to a job fair and you want to collect data from folks that come up to your table at the job fair, in about 15 minutes, you could spin up a complete landing page and database for individuals to walk up to your table, input information on a screen that's open at your laptop, or create a QR code they can scan with their phone and input data. And in real time, you can see that data accumulate in your little database that you set up for that particular job fair. And when you're done with that data, or you're done with that application, you can delete it or keep it or whatever. It's just like an Excel spreadsheet at that point.
Perfect. Yeah, so basically, if you have interest outside of grant management, along with grant management, I'd reach out to Susan, John, and Derek and find out kind of what they can do to help you in your business, whatever projects you guys are working on outside of just grant management.
And Susan, we have 2 more questions in chat if you want to take a look at those.
Yes, thank you. Go ahead, John.
Well, I was going to take the one on size of organization. We work with small, very small, very local organizations, and as well as very large, so it's a data platform. So really, any level of organization size is possible. Some grantees, it might be that they're only going to serve 100 folks with the grant that they received, but they still need to manage the data and deal with the complex reporting, etc. And some folks might serve, thousands of participants with that particular grant or funding stream that they're using. So it's very flexible in terms of the organizations that, how organizations can afford a tool like this. That's the beauty of the system itself, is we're not spending 6 months custom building a bespoke software platform for you that that's a one-off. Everything's done right on the tool, on the Prime platform itself. Just like making a new Excel workbook, you don't think twice about clicking a create new when you open Excel, even if you already have 30 or 40, or if you're like me, 600 different workbooks going at one time. That I'm slowly, as I'm new to AGS here, I'm slowly integrating into our internal Prime system. But yeah, you can simply just create new. Great. To the point, we work with very small organizations all the way up to very large national organizations.
Perfect. Great.
And Susan, if you want to take the other question.
Yeah, thank you. So we work in the state of California with the Foundation for California Community Colleges right now. So I don't have any immediate interaction with the state of California EDD, but that's something we should look into.
If you have anybody that Susan should reach out to, you can put their contact information in the chat as well. Any other questions? Appreciate the response from the group.
I had a question that came in to my email. It was generally, the question was sort of, implementation timeline. What does it typically take to implement something like this if I've got a grant? And our ability to turn around a deployment is typically within 1 or 2 days. To be able to get we need your every one of our customers has their own dedicated virtualized web server on AWS. So the first question I ask is, what do you want your domain name to be? Angelita.agsprime.net. I don't know, whatever it needs to be. And we can turn your domain name. Yes, we can set up your domain name, add the particular template or templates, depending upon your situation, get that turned on, so to speak, and all of the infrastructural stuff that Derek and his team does. And then while that's all taking place over 24 to 48 hours, I will be and John will be working with you to set up your first training session. So it can happen extremely quickly. And then we go through the application training process is typically, 2 to 4 2-hour live web training sessions that we take your administrators through. So everybody on your grant admin team knows everything there is about AGS, the AGS application itself. And then we talk through what your strategies are for any business process questions that emerge, which almost always do. Strategies about end user training, and maybe it's a staged rollout depending on the size of your project or your grant. And we'll walk you through and help you and hold your hand through all of that process. So I hope that answers that question for whomever asked that.
Yeah, it's a quick time frame, a good turnaround.
Again, the Susan said this before, but our main goal is to take the burden away from you of the data management technology stuff so that you can focus on the participants who you're serving with your grants.
Great.
Derek, any final words from the AGS side?
I very much appreciate everyone's time and attendance today. I hope that you've seen something here today that would be of interest. You have all of our contact information. I'm sure none of you are shy about reaching out. We'd love to hear from you and see what we can do to assist your organizations with the grants and other programs that you're working on. But thank you very much for giving us your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Derek, Susan, John, and the effort going into this. So we'll, as we mentioned through the chat, we'll send out the recording of today along with some additional content and all the contact information for Derek, Susan, and John. Should you guys be interested, I think definitely you guys should reach out and find out at the very least what they can do for you guys on many different levels. So I appreciate you guys joining today and the participants. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thanks, everybody.